What's up guys, my name is Jimmy Champagne and today I'm here with my review of Pyewacket. It's the new movie from Macdonald who wrote and directed Backcountry, which I reviewed a couple months back. He's writing and directing again this time around, which is good because just like Backcountry, this movie is totally character driven and that's why I think it works. So the movie stars Nicole Munoz as Leah and Laurie Holden as her mother, Mrs. Reyes. Now they're both going through the process of grief in this movie because the father of the family died just before it started. They're each going through it in their own unique ways. Now, Laurie Holden does not take it very well at all. She's constantly lashing out, she's saying mean things to her daughter, and she ultimately decides that they need to get away and move out into the woods. So naturally, picking up and moving over 2 hours away into a different school system, mind you, is not a good way to have a great relationship with your kid, especially after her father dies. They get into a pretty nasty fight, and Leah's mother says some things that she definitely regrets, but this causes Leah to go out into the woods and try and summon a demon called Pyewacket to come and kill her mother. Yeah, it's pretty dark. Now that plot point is very interesting to me because it highlights something that Macdonald is really good at, working with a budget and creating characters that feel like human beings with real emotions rather than movie characters. I hope that makes sense. It taps into that whole idea that when you're a teenager, when you're a kid, you don't really see your parents as human beings, and part of becoming an adult is realizing that they're getting through life just like you. They just did it earlier. So it is realizing that maybe they are right about some of the stuff they're telling you. But on the flip side, I do like the idea that actions have consequences. Even if you are a kid who's just lashing out, you kind of have to accept the mistakes you make and work with them. I want to move on to my favorite aspect of this movie, and that's Leah and her friends, specifically how they dress. They actually do dress like real rocker kids. Not exactly emos, because I think things changed over time. They actually do dress how I dress now, but when I was in middle school, I wish I had friends like them. I wish there was a group of people like me because I was just like these kids. Something specific I want to point out is the Heartogram logo on Leah's backpack. I thought that was awesome. Now when I was in middle school, Bam Margera was pretty much the most famous he's ever been, and something that he made very popular was that Heartogram logo. But that's not his logo. It's the logo for the band Him, who in turn is basically famous because Bam was a super fan of them. It's this whole weird thing, and I'm totally getting in the weeds here, but basically it just shows that Macdonald knew what kind of characters he was writing, and I really appreciated that because it gave me a sense of perspective and belonging that I haven't really ever felt in a movie. So now we're going to talk about what actually makes this movie scary, starting with the Pyewacket demon herself. You will see her quite a few times in this movie, and she takes quite a few different forms. My favorite scene of all, though, she's barely in. It's when Leah goes out into the woods, I think about 30 or 45 minutes in, to do the actual ritual. You can kind of see in the background someone standing behind a tree. You're not really sure at first what that is. I'm telling you, concentrate on that part because it is bone chilling. I have never used that word to describe anything in a horror movie before, but that's what it is. The chills that went up my spine during that part were amazing. It was just something I've never felt in a horror movie before, and it's just exciting to talk about it right now. And then there's the whole idea of taking things far enough to go out into the woods, perform a ritual that will end up with your mom dead. Leah's friends aren't real cultists. They're just into occult stuff because they think it's cool. So when she comes to them and tells them what she did, they're all taken aback. Like, one of them uses occult spells to make girls like him. You know, it's not real to them. It's just like a fun thing that they're all into, and it gives them a point of reference as friends. But when she does it, she crosses the line and they all let her know. But like I was just starting to get into, my favorite scene in the entire movie is when she goes out to do the actual ritual, because the color grading is totally on point. It's full of dark blues and grays and purples, and it has this stark contrast with this red yarn she's wrapping around trees. This movie would make an absolutely perfect triple feature with We Are Still Here and The Autopsy of Jane Doe. It's not a New England horror movie, but it would fit right in with that style. But unfortunately, like I mentioned earlier, this movie is very clearly made on a budget, and it does affect the quality of the film overall, which is kind of a bummer. The shot work itself is great. I think Chris Stuckman put it best when he said it gives it a voyeuristic feeling, like you're a character in the film. It gives you that fly on the wall sense where you're watching things unfold in front of you, and as much as you want to reach out and scream to the characters, you can't. You're just there to observe, and I think that's really cool. There's some handheld moments when they're running through the woods and you feel like you're watching this girl from far away and she doesn't know you're there, and there are even some first-person scenes as Pyewacket which are pretty freaking creepy. There's some that you don't even know that's what they are, and then they start rolling and then you realize, oh my god, I'm in Pyewacket's first-person perspective, and I haven't really seen that in a lot of movies, and I thought that was really cool. I just turned that criticism into a positive somehow. I don't know how I did that, but what I was originally trying to say, circling back here, is that where this movie falters is in the effects. I don't even want to take a step into spoiler territory, so I really can't talk about why the effects don't work for me. I just want to say that I think Macdonald was a little too ambitious for the budget he had to work with, which I can commend him for, but it does make the film suffer as a whole. I'm just gonna leave it there because I don't want to spoil any of the plot for you. But yeah, that sums up my thoughts on Pyewacket. It's a really good horror movie that is starting off a Halloween season that I already feel like is gonna be great. I really hope this movie gets picked up at the Toronto International Film Festival and Macdonald kind of gets the recognition he deserves. He didn't really get enough recognition for Backcountry, and I have a feeling that this movie is gonna fly under people's radars, but I really want to help bring it to the top in any way I can. He's a great director, but he's an even better writer. He's just incredible at writing characters, and I can't wait to see what he's gonna do when he gets a bigger budget down the line. It's just totally inspiring. So yeah, as I mentioned, the Halloween season is just beginning, and I've already got some of my decorations out, but if you want to show me yours, you can send those to me on Twitter or Instagram at JimmyChampagne or jimmychampagne@gmail.com if you don't want to do that public social media route. I've got a ton of great stuff coming up over the next couple months, so if you're not subscribed already, now's the time to do it. The biggest thing you can do to help me out though is hit that thumbs up button and share this video with someone you know who would really benefit from hearing about Pyewacket. Anyways guys, my name is Jimmy Champagne and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.